Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm the Monk, and today we are in Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlords, and this video is a troop guide. The best troops in the game, the troops to aim for. We're going to go through the archers, the mounted archers. We're going to do the cavalry and the infantry. They're the four types of troops that we're going to be looking at today, and I'm going to be showing you what I would consider the best troops in each category and why I would consider them to be here. And if this is the kind of video that you want to see, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, that way you don't miss out on more videos just like this. But anyway, enough of that, let's jump into the video, and in no particular order, we're going to start with the mounted archers. Now this is the Azari Marlock Heavy Cavalry. Now it says it's a heavy cavalry, but this is a archer cavalry. This is horseback archery. Now they have 130 bowmanship and 130 riding, and that's very important. Now they're equipped with a shield, a one-handed sword. They're equipped with piercing arrows that actually has piercing damage of 4 stacks of 23, and they have steep recurve bows. Their horse also has 200 hit points. I really like these guys. I don't think that these troops are cared for enough, but I really like the Azari. They're not necessarily the most armored troops in a game, but I do think these guys hit hard. And with the bow itself being 62 pierce damage with 94 accuracy, I think they're going to hit their target and hit hard. Next up, we must have one of the best mounted archers in the game. It's the Imperial Buccanele, or Buccanele. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but these guys are awesome. They have 140 in bow, 120 in riding, and their horse has got 210 hit points, meaning they're actually going to stay around for a little bit longer than the last ones. Now they have the one-handed sword. They also have 2 packs of barbed arrows. Instead of the shield, they have 2 packs of barbed arrows. Stack of 20 means they have 40 projectiles to be shooting. Mounted archers, you really want to be riding around, yeah? You want them riding around, firing as many as possible, you know, in a loose formation. And of course, them having 40 missiles to shoot means they're going to be doing that for a lot longer before they have to reach for their sword. They do have a step recurve bow, same stats as last time. And these guys are just awesome, simply because they have got double the ammo of the last guys. Now the Khan's Guard have to be the king of mounted archery. They have 260 in bowmanship. They have 200 in riding, and are just absolutely devastating. These guys' horse has 235 hit points. They come with a swing action polearm, like a massive axe. They have 2 packs of steeped arrows, and then they have the steep recurve bow. Again, exactly same stats on that. The steeped arrows are pierce damage of 2, but they do have 2 stacks. Like I said, they have 24 per stacks. They have more ammo than the last ones at that. And with the polearm that they have as well, these guys make absolutely tremendous siege tower kind of defense units as well. Getting a lot of this unit early game is going to be really hard. This is a specialist unit and is not easy to obtain, but absolutely kings at what they do. Sticking with the same culture for a second, we have the Heavy Lancer. Now these guys have 150 in riding and 130 in polearms, also 130 in one-handed combat. They're all pretty decent stats, to be fair. These guys are equipped with a saber, a shield, and that heavy cavalry lance, which is absolutely devastating if you get hit with it. Their horse is 235 in hit points, which is very, very strong, and these guys are a strong contender for being the best cavalry unit in the game. Next up, we switch over to Empire, and the elite Cataphrats are God tier. Now, these again are a special unit, meaning that we're not going to be able to get a lot of them very early on. Eventually, we will be able to get a few of these guys, and you want to get as many as you can. They are riding of 200 and pole arms of 260. Their one-handed combat is also a stat of 200, which is just monstrous. Their horse has 220 hit points as well, which is pretty cool. They are armed with the one-handed sword, the shield, and of course that all-important Corsair lance. Being hit with this again is almost a one-hit kill. Next up, we have the Verlandian Vanguard. These guys, there's nothing that really stands out to be amazing about these guys, but they do have decent armor. They do make decent siege defense if you need them there. They have 130 in one-handed, 130 in polearms, and 130 in riding. They are a jack of all trades. They are armed with a one-handed sword. They are armed with the reinforced shield, and of course they have got that knight lance as well. Again, being hit with that is devastating. Their horse, by the way, has 240 hit points. That's one of the strongest horses in the game. Next up, the archers, and again we have gone God tier. We have the Fen champion. These guys are insane for so many different reasons. Stick them in your castle, your town, and that thing is not going anywhere. They have 260 in bowmanship, 220 in two-handed, and they also have 170 athletics there, which is pretty darn awesome. They are equipped with a two-handed sword dealing devastating damage, and they have 2 stacks of arrows. Each stack has 32 in it. They have 64 projectiles, guys, and they have wooden longbows. These longbows are 76 in pierce with a 94 accuracy. Again, these guys are very well armored and are absolutely brilliant on the field. They are specialist units and they're going to be very hard to actually obtain. However, if you do get a ton of these guys, keep them alive, keep them safe, because they will own whatever battle you happen to be in. Next up, we have the Azari Master Archer. These guys have 160 in bowmanship and 130 in athletics and one-handed. Now these guys are equipped with a one-handed weapon as well as 2 stacked of piercing arrows. These piercing arrows deal 4 damage, which is pretty good. They have a steeped recurve bow as well, same stats as usual. Like I said, they have those double stack, which is 46 projectiles that they have here. These guys are very good. They're not amazing. They're not top tier, but I would definitely pop them in my top 3. And that mainly is the 160 in bowmanship. I believe that's the second highest bowmanship of any archer. Next up, we have the Verlandian Sharpshooter. These guys have 130 in their crossbow, 130 in one-handed, and 130 in athletics. They are equipped with a decent shield, one-handed sword, 1 stack of heavy bolts, which is 5 piercing damage, and of course, they have that trusty crossbow. These guys are pretty good all-round units. You can use them on the battlefield, you can use them in a siege, and I just honestly like these troops an awful lot. I think they're very reliable and a decent choice. Next up, and sticking with the same culture, we have the Valandian Sergeant. These guys are beasts on the battlefield. They have 130 athletics, 130 one-handedness, and 130 in pole arms. They are equipped with a fine steel spear, which they can use for swing action as well. They've got the shield, and of course they have got a trusted mace. This mace is fantastic against heavy infantry. It will rip apart any armor the enemy has. Any guys, any troops that has the mace is great against armored units. Next up, we have the Darken. These guys are really cool. I love the armor that they wear. I think they're one of the coolest looking units in the game. They have 130 athletics, 130 one-handed, and 130 in pole arms as well. They are equipped with a heavy saber. They've got the cavalry shield, and of course they have got the throwing spear. And lastly, we have the heroic Linebreaker. These guys are a glass cannon. They deal absolutely ridiculous damage, but they probably are the least armored out of everyone else because they don't have that shield for protection, and sometimes they just don't have as good armor. They have 130 in throwing, 150 in athletics, which is fantastic, and 150 in two-handed weapons. Now these guys are equipped with a one-handed weapon. They also have the two-handed axe, which deals unbelievable damage, seriously cuts people down so quickly. But why I also like them particularly is because they have a throwing axe as well, so they also have that ranged combat, which can be really useful sometimes. But yes, ultimately they are a bit of a glass cannon. But that is it, guys. That is a breakdown of what I would consider to be the top 3 troops in every class of troop you can get in a game. I've included some of the special troops. Obviously, almost all of the special troops are better than the basic troops in a game. But unfortunately, the special troops are very rare and hard to get, especially early game. Hopefully, this video has helped you guys out. Maybe you found it entertaining, liked it, or as I said, you just learned something. And if that is the case for you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment your thoughts down below. Who is the best troop in a game? Who do you always try and train to? Or what culture do you tend to try and stick to? Anyway, I've been Mark, we've been Critically Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.